welcome to season 3, day 1 of your daily wellness. So for this season we're going to use some of these. So these are my Secret Santa gift from Ollie, so thanks Ollie. And they're yoga poses cards. So we've got 100 cards here, each with one yoga pose on it. So I'm going to pick a card. I'll do it at the end of each session just so you know what's coming next session, usually. And then we'll work on moves you can do to warm up for it, how to use it within a yoga practice, practicing the move itself, and see how we get on so we can have a little bit more focus on particular moves during this season. So let's see what we come up for today. Nice easy one. I'm glad that happened on the first day. So for today we have this card, which is cow pose. So it's a nice basic yoga pose. I'll pop that up there so we've got it in the background. Nice basic yoga pose that we use in probably over half of the classes that we do. It's a great warm up for the spine, used with cat pose. But also a great precursor to back bends, and if you just want to increase the mobility through the spine and open the chest as well. And you can do kind of different variations of it. So, like always, make yourself comfortable. Any position, any seated position that works for you. If you have a block and you feel like you need a little lift of the hips, just get the sit bones on the block, and this will allow the pelvic tilt, which will let you lengthen up nice and tall. No shame in using a block in a class or in your at-home practice. And if you haven't got a block, a book will do, or a folded up blanket, or anything that will just lift you up by an inch or a couple of inches. So, coming into your seated position, take a moment to settle in. This is the first one of this season. Having a few thoughts, allowing those thoughts to come, all of these, oh my god, we're back here again, we're doing this wellness again, we're all stuck at home again. But we survived the last ones and we'll survive this one. So just imagine for a moment as those thoughts come, let them gather in your head, and then as you exhale, just let them go, let your shoulders drop. We're not taking too strong a form to begin with, just allowing each exhale, allow your shoulders to drop, allow your neck a little bit of looseness. Take a moment to just feel your body start to loosen up with every exhale, just let it go, just release it out. Take an audible sigh if you want to, if that feels good for you. Focusing on the exhales. Doing whatever you need to do, so if that's taking a little wiggle, maybe it is just finding stillness, maybe it's just focusing on the sensation of the exhale, the sound of your breath. And then as we release tension from the shoulders, from your face, from your neck, you might notice that you're still holding a little bit here. We've still got this, just a slight contraction, which we hold most of the time. Just let that go. Let the belly expand. And now as you inhale, feel that expansion purposeful. Use your breath. As you inhale, we expand the belly. You'll feel the chest want to lift. Allow that lift. And then as you exhale, feel the shoulders get heavy, the elbows get heavy. Grounding down. Close your eyes, take a few rounds of breath. Growing up tall, grounding down. Inhaling this moment, this practice, this me time for you. Exhaling all the crap, all the negative thoughts, all the preconceptions. And then as you inhale, feel your collarbones rise. Also, feel this length through the sides of your body. Feel this growth from the hip to the rib cage, between all of the ribs in the front, back and side of your chest cavity. Feel the shoulder blades come together in the upper back and down. A slight tuck of the lower ribs, just so you're not arching. And again, just a little tuck of the chin, so we're lengthening up through the back of the neck, not sort of reaching up with the face. Allow the belly to expand and contract, and feel a little bit of tension through your postural muscles to hold you nice and long. Feel the sensation in your body. Stretch as you inhale, the lift, the contraction as you exhale. Good, and then with the chest, imagine keeping your hips nice and still. We're going to draw some circles, so we're simply going to come around, forwards, around and back. So we're not coming into full, arch and tuck. But just imagine that we're drawing a little circle. The chin stays tucked, and that circle might be tiny for you, or it might be big, depending on how mobile your spine is in general, or just today. And then changing direction. So these kind of small spinal movements and working on alignment is great warming up for your cow pose. But really, cow pose can be a warm-up in itself. We often use cat-cow to prepare the spine for deeper poses. So if you're just focusing on the basics, take some time to work into it. If you're using it for a warm-up for something else, you can pretty much just go straight into a nice cat-cow if you start gently. So we're going to do a few seated cat-cow now, so you'll often find the two together. So your cow pose is the dropped belly, the chest opening, this kind of little arch, leaning forwards a little. And then your cat pose is kind of like this Halloween cat when they're all arched through the back and their heckles stand up. So then we send the spine backwards. Don't know if you just heard my collarbone crack. Always good. One more. Good. Find this neutral spine. And then from there we're going to come onto all fours. So in preparation for our cat-cow, we start with tabletop pose. So for tabletop, we want to make sure that the hands are directly underneath your shoulders. So take a moment to make sure that they're parallel. So look from here, the width kind of from the shoulders, and then check that width is the same at the elbows, same at the wrists, so we're not kind of going out or coming in. Spread your fingers as wide as you can, and maybe slightly rotate out, so the pointing finger is pointing forwards. Feel the elbow pits, so the inside of the elbow is rotating forwards. And try and press not just into the palm heel, but into the back of every knuckle, and actually into the area between the thumb and finger, really pressing predominantly between these two fingers, but between all of the fingers, but we often kind of lift up at the inside here. So really trying to press down between the thumb and first finger. So walk in the knees to a point where, again, check that they're about hip width. So look down, look at the width of your hips. So it's not going to be exactly the outside, it's not going to be coming narrow. You want your knee bones to be directly underneath your hip bones. And then we want to make sure, or try and feel it out, because you won't be able to see this, that we're not kind of coming in too far or coming out too far. We want the weight stacked neatly hips over the knees. So take a moment to Find that alignment. Good. Naturally here we start to come into cow pose already, but we don't want to do that to begin with. So we're going to just take a small tuck of the tailbone, small tuck in of the lower ribs, open the chest, and then lengthen. Press with the top of the feet, the knees squeezing into the hands. Good. So we'll take a few rounds of cat and cow. So starting with your cow, as you inhale, feel the belly expand as it wants to drop. Allow it to drop down. Allow the chest to lift and lengthen as you fill up, gazing up. And then as you exhale and you feel that contraction through your belly, feel it start here as it comes up, 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 up. Keep pushing the belly button up, 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 up. Tuck the whole body. Again, slowly inhale. Feel it fill your body, feel it cause that expansion. All the way, and then as you exhale, start with the belly button, squeeze in. As you lift up, lifting the belly button up. One more round, inhale, drop the belly. Exhale, squeeze it up. Good, from there we're going to send the weight back. Keep the knees where they are. Bring it back. If you want to, you can tuck the toes, you can keep it up high. Just take a few wrist circles. So always gentle in your yoga practice. You don't need to keep on pushing until you've got pain in the joints. It's supposed to be helpful for your body. It's supposed to feel good and make you feel healthier and more capable, not cause you injuries so you're really sore and you can't do anything tomorrow. So always at your pace and your level. You may get a bit of pain during some of the more intense moves, muscular pain, but we really don't want to put pressure on the joints. Nice and gentle. So take the hands out again, set yourself up, spread the fingers, pressing into the back of the knuckles. From here we're going to come into full cow pose. So allow the belly to drop. And then take a moment to really try and lift the tailbone right down to the bottom of the tailbone. You're going to feel a bit of compression in the lower back. That's fine, but we don't want to make the whole bend here. We want to use the upper back and the chest. So once you lift the tailbone, and you may want to give it a little wiggle just to make sure we're nice and loose and we're working all the way to the end, then we try and lengthen the chest, not just back but forwards, and then lift the chest. Shoulder blades come together in the upper back, and then we can lengthen forwards and up slightly with the neck, so we're not cranking back as much as we can, causing tension in the neck. Breathe in your cow pose. Feel the sensation of staying in cow pose rather than moving between cat-cow. Pressing the floor away, strong through the arms, nice and strong through the feet, pressing into the floor. So we're not just sinking down, we're actually pushing up and away. Lengthening up. Imagine that we're drawing the bottom half of a circle with your spine, trying to work through the upper back in particular, because that's where most of us are stiff. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Send it back slowly, slowly, slowly. Allow your spine to ease out of cat pose, and then allow your upper body to come down. Take a moment to surrender. Maybe we take a little wiggle here. Good. Claw through the fingertips. So that was your basic cow pose, and you see how it can become more intense when we hold, when we really focus. Quite an intense back bend. You can possibly feel some of that tension through the back, and so always after we do a back bend, particularly if we're focusing on that, we need to release some of that tension afterwards. So we're going to counterbalance that with a few side movements and then finish off with a couple of twists. So on all fours, find that neutral spine. So lower ribs tucked in, tailbone tucked under slightly, lengthening out, gazing just in front of your hands. we're going to bump the hips over to one side and look over towards the hips. Pressing firmly with both hands, weight evenly distributed between both hands and both knees. And then we take it over and around to the other side. Good, bring it back into the middle. From there, bring the knees up. Again, you can tuck the toes and leave the toes tucked if you want to. Or we're going to bring it down. We're simply going to take one arm around behind. We're going to reach the other arm up. Lengthen up. Good, bring it forwards, plant the hand down. This hand that was behind, we're now going to sweep up and then exhale, sweep through. Slowly bring your shoulder down towards the mat. You can use a block or a blanket underneath if there's no space. And we're not doing the full twist today. Pushing through the arm as we come up. Other arm goes up, other arm goes behind. Lengthen up, and then we bring the hand down to the floor. The hand that was behind the back, reach up to the sky, and then slide under. And again, work your way down into it. Use that firm foundation with the hand to bring yourself back in, and then bring yourself into seated position, however's comfortable for you. So we can have legs crossed, we can plant the feet on the floor, whichever option you do. I want you to take a moment as you exhale next to start slumping, chin to chest, drop it down, and just take a fold over wherever you are. Just allowing that release through mid-back, maybe even take a sway. Breathing deep into the belly. Good, slowly bring it back up. Find the neutral spine, close your eyes. And take a few minutes or a few moments. Notice how your spine feels. You may feel a little bit more sensation where we've woken up some of the postural muscles. You may feel a little bit looser, a little bit freer. Take a little boogie if you want to. And at this point you can even do some seated cat-cow if that's what you feel you want to do. Take in about 3 more rounds of breath. So I will work out what pose we're going to do for tomorrow. Have a little shuffle, and then if we need any props, you can get those ready, or some sort of variation. So tomorrow, okay, so don't be afraid. The card that I've pulled for tomorrow is headstand. We're not going to be doing full headstands, do not worry about that, unless you want to. But just because the pose is a little bit more difficult, doesn't mean we can't work on the preparation, I can't say that word, so we're just going to go preparation. We're going to show the poses that you can use to prepare for a headstand, which can be just as effective. So one of the benefits of headstand is when we get the head lower than the heart, we get this nice rush of fresh blood into the brain. It also helps us to relieve a lot of tension. So we'll be using some similar moves to do that without having to do a full-on headstand. And I will show you a couple of poses you can do to work towards headstand if you want to kind of have a little bit of a practice, but Do not, if it's not in your practice, don't do a full headstand. Think about your neck health, your spine health, and we'll work to a level that suits you. But don't be afraid, don't miss the video just because you can't do a headstand, because there'll be plenty for you to do. So, they're ready for tomorrow. Thank you for joining me. Namaste. And I'll see you again tomorrow for your next